Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Tonight I will light the candles in honor of the unification of the worlds within and without. So this is a time that applies to everybody. It's a celebration of unity. And that's for everyone. So we are just about at the first quarter moon. Tomorrow evening will be the first quarter to be exact. But as you know, 2 days before and 2 days after, the energy of that time is already upon us, and we're still upon us. So I'm doing the reading one day in advance of the actual time, but we're already in it. We are still in it. And this is so that you can prepare and maybe just be a step ahead of the game. Now, we had the new moon reading recently, and if you didn't see that, it is up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/RebeccaMagic, so check it out. And now we're at the first quarter, so, we're not even, we're still in it. We may not have all the answers yet, and that's okay. That's actually perfect. Okay, we're still figuring things out. We are deep into our process in this cycle now, okay? We've already got both feet in. Where are we at? What's going on? The new moon was about relationships and the heart, emotions. Obviously, relationships are where we are playing with and exploring our heart's feelings and our emotions. So relationships were highlighted. But whatever situations in life you are emotionally invested in, those are the situations that we're calling on our attention. And all of that work that we've been doing emotionally, all of those experiences we've been going through emotionally, led us to a point where we remembered why we were doing this, all for our growth and expansion, all for our getting in tune with our heart's compass, so that we can finally do whatever we must do to begin a new cycle with a solid foundation. And now we're at the first quarter. So where have we traveled since then? Where have we traveled in a week's time? Because sheesh, in one day so much happens, right? So I invite you to whatever thoughts have been traveling through your mind today or all week even. Whatever feelings you've been carrying, let it all go, at least just for this moment, so that we can be present and create a space so that it can be filled with new guidance, new perspective, clarity, direction, insight. So whatever it is, say thank you very much. I hear you. Now please take a seat. I need the space so that the truth can enter. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and take one final deep breath and send your energy to the deck however you'd like, however that looks for you. It's all about imagination, okay? So see yourself, feel yourself connecting with the deck. Meet me here, now, in this time and space. I need all of you. Whatever part of you isn't here now, call it in. Call in all parts of you to be here now, to fully receive guidance that is wanting to enter. Thank you, Faces of the One, Archetypes of the Deck, for showing yourself to us in a way that provides new perspective as we move through the cycle. What hints do you have for me, for us, as individuals and as a collective unit? How can we be the best version of ourselves here now? To do the highest good, to serve the highest good here now. Okay. Something that needs to be let go of. I pulled a card for what is the thing that needs to be let go of, so that we can set down that weight and fly free to the future. And then, of course, I pulled the future. Then there's the bridge. the challenge and gift between now and the future. And then there's a little fairy at the top, a hidden helper, a crown card, something to keep in mind as we move forward. Something that needs to be let go of, the Queen of Cups. Okay, I see this very clearly. The message is very clear. It's very visual too. The Queen of Cups is the water of water, the heart of hearts. She is necessary. She's a necessary step, a necessary archetype to understand and to embody when we move toward the King of Cups, knowing how and what to do with our emotions, knowing how to delegate, how to move from and act from the heart. First, we have to get into her shoes, which is just being fully in the heart, getting in touch with our emotions before we can act on them. We need to let go of that part of the process. Because if we stay here too long, we will drown. The visual I see is like one drowning in one's own tears. Cry me a river, right? This is when we move into victimization, victim mentality, victim consciousness. We must remember that the queen has to make it to the king. They need each other. Yes, we need to get in touch with our hearts and our emotions, for that is a gift, and our emotions are here to guide us. But we mustn't drown in them and become stuck there. We must remember that it is all to move to the king and then begin again with the page and move our way up. So we go through cycles. We can't just wallow in our pity. We can't just sit with the emotions. We have to then eventually make choices, wise ones hopefully, and act upon them. So that's very clear. And remember, this is a reading for the collective consciousness, so it's also for the individual. Okay, the microcosm and the macrocosm. So how does this apply to you in your life, and how does it apply to us as a unit? We have to be strong right now. We cannot get stuck in victim consciousness within our individuality or as a collective unit. We must understand that our emotions are here to guide us, but we cannot drown in them. We cannot get stuck in them. We have to make decisions. There comes a time for that. So, time to let that go. Time to let that go and move toward the King of Cups. And where are we headed? An ending when we do that. A 9. 9s are endings. And this is a 9 of Pentacles. Earth. It's the ending of a cycle here on this physical plane. Perhaps we've reached a point where we feel abundant and complete, like we've got what we wanted, but we're not fulfilled. It's time to begin again. It's time to pursue a new project. Or perhaps we got everything we wanted, but it doesn't feel good because we didn't get it in a way that was right. And it's time to start over and keep our eyes on that same prize, but with a whole new path to get to it. So that when we get it the next time around, we get it in a virtuous way. We manifest it in a virtuous way, in a way that makes the end result more sustainable, that makes the manifestation more sustainable. Or perhaps we never got the thing we wanted. Perhaps we've awakened before trying so hard and putting all of our energy into something because it was only a vision. Perhaps we had a vision of what it would be like to be fulfilled on this physical plane, on this material plane, and then, now we're realizing that's BS. We actually don't want that. And that was all false. And it was a vision created by the ego, which we are now shedding, because we shed the ego in layers. So perhaps that vision is dying with that part of the ego that is now dying. But that's the future, so that's not quite here yet. First, to be able to see this, to be able to end a cycle and begin a new one on this physical plane, however that looks for you or for us, we first have to get out of this victim mentality. We have to stop giving in to the emotions. We have to sit with them and talk with them and reason with them, not just be them, not let them consume us, but to have that inner dialogue, that self-dialogue where we say, okay, I hear you, heart. And I feel you, and I honor you, and I know that you're telling me something, and I'm going to act on it for us. I'm going to do it. it's like a little child inside that wants to be acknowledged. And if you just sit there like, oh, it's okay, sweetie, it's okay, I understand. You can do that forever, but then the child is just going to keep crying because you're just feeding it. Instead, it's like, it's okay, sweetie, it's okay. And what are we going to do about it now? Because we have all of the archetypes within us. Not just the baby, not just the child, not just the adolescent, not just the mother or father, or the sage, the wise one, the elder. We have all of those. So how can that council of archetypes within face each other and come to an agreement on what proper action needs to be taken? Everything on this plane is about action. Nothing is solid, nothing is stable, everything's moving. Nothing is static, everything's moving, vibrating, changing. Action is key. Without right action, sure, we have all the answers, but what are we doing with them? All of the answers are within, but what we do with them is what keeps this world turning in the unique way that it does. So how can that council of archetypes within face each other in a circle, pass the peace pipe, and come to some sort of a conclusion here on what needs to be done so that we can end a cycle here on this plane and begin a new one? It's a good thing no matter which way we look at it. It's all up to us. But it's a good thing however we look at it. Whether we're waking up from a false idea of what we want or what we wanted and creating a new vision of that, or whether we got what we wanted and it's just time for a new plan, a new project, a new pursuit. All of it's good. Change is good. New is good. We can't just stay where we're at. I see already in these two cards that the energy right now is telling us we can't remain stagnant. We have to get ourselves up and out there. We have to motivate ourselves. We have to find inspiration and motivation to keep going and take right action. And the challenge and gift, which becomes the bridge between these two, the present and future, is the Page of Wands. Yeah! And that was a perfect segue into this card, actually. The Page of Wands is the earth of fire. It's bringing in the inspiration. Calling upon the motivation, the fire. It's a youthful fire, an inspired fire. A messenger of spirit on this plane. How can I call in that inspiration? How can I see the pyramids down there? How can I channel this fire and inspiration in a whole new way, in a youthful way, with an open mind, to get me moving ahead, to get me out of this emotional rut, to be inspired to end a cycle here on this earth, whether it served me once or not. It's always serving us, whatever we're going through, challenging or not. Navigating the waters of this plane, navigating these experiences is always growth. So how can we end a cycle and begin a new one through this newfound inspiration? And this is the challenge and gift. So as it is the gift which will get us to that opportunity of ending and beginning a new cycle here on this physical plane, it's also a challenge. Maybe a lot of us, and I definitely relate to this, I know a lot of people in my circle here can relate to this. It may have been a struggle, and it may continue to be for a little bit, depending on where we're at. It may have been a struggle to find that inspiration. What is that? How do I get that inspiration? How do you just pull it out of thin air? You can meditate upon this archetype. You can study this archetype, the Page of Wands. But also, you can really just let go of all of the overthinking and analyzation and just say a silent prayer, or out loud, whatever you want to do, whatever inspires you. Just call it in. Just pray for it. Give thanks that it's already on its way. See yourself inspired. Rather than worrying about how it's going to come to you, close your eyes and relax as best as possible. And for a lot of us, that's in the morning right before we open our eyes, or at night right before we fall asleep. When you're the most relaxed and your brainwaves are optimal for that manifestation, visualize yourself with a smile on your face, feeling inspired. Think about maybe past experiences where you felt that inspiration. And then let the details of that past memory go, but remember the feeling. What did you feel? Feel that again in your mind's eye. Feel that inside your body and inside your mind's eye. Feel the inspiration. Give thanks that it's on its way. Know it, and do this every day as often as possible. Know it to sow it. You have to believe it to receive it. So don't worry about how. Just envision yourself inspired. What does that look like, and what does that feel like? That's the fastest and easiest way to begin to receive the gifts of this card and archetype. And when you feel that inspiration, of course, it's inevitable that you're going to manifest an ending and a new beginning, because you'll receive that inspiration you need, however you need it. And because you're not limiting yourself to how it's going to come, you will open up to it in ways that you couldn't even imagine, because the universe is mysterious and beautiful like this. We just have to get out of the way. So of course, that inspiration is going to be pulled in through every pore. It's going to go to wherever it needs to go, because you're going to allow it. And that's going to guide you effortlessly and gracefully to those situations where you need to finally cut the cord, so that we can call in new energy and new projects. And then that will create a whole new reality for you, for us on this earth plane. Woo! I'm definitely feeling that, you guys. I would share about my personal life and how much I resonate, but that's not what this is about. But I do just want to say I definitely resonate. There's so much newness and inspiration in my life, like newfound inspiration and openness. And I wish that for you. And I believe, absolutely, I know that it is available to you here now and always in each moment. Now the card to remember, the hidden helper, the ally, the crown. Woo! Major arcana. So we have a queen, a page, so 2 court cards, a 9 in ending, okay? And the moon, a major arcana. Another powerful reading, and you watched it before your eyes. The moon is the card to remember. And this is the card of hidden, the hidden world, the hidden realm, hidden emotions, hidden feelings, the subconscious. What is deep down in there that we're not looking at? What are those shadows that we haven't yet looked at? We're releasing those deepest ones right now. We're shining a light on the most hidden shadows, on the darkest corners of our minds, of our insides. That's what this process is about. Releasing victim consciousness, getting out of the emotional rut and saying, thank you for guiding me, but it's time to bring whatever is in this darkness out into the light. It's time to shine a light on it. And so if we remember this as we go through the challenge and gift of the Page of Wands, seeking that new inspiration, as we remember this, we remember that we really need to let go of old programming, and we need to watch our instinctive behavior so that we make sure we are not blocking ourselves, creating limits from receiving this new inspiration. In order to be in that youthful mindset and to be in that openness and to receive new inspiration, we cannot get in our own way. We have to see our old behaviors and old patterns, observe them, and know when to say, hey, chances are this habitual thinking or acting that you're doing is the very thing that's limiting you from receiving this new spiritual fire or this new inspiration. And if you keep doing this, we'll never be able to end a cycle on this physical plane and begin a new one. It's time to access the opportunity for a new one, because right now and always we have that opportunity, but right now the stars are aligned in such a way that makes this the priority out of all the archetypal lessons. This is the one that wants to be seen right now. This is it right here. This is the map, you guys. It's time to once and for all learn these archetypal lessons that are present in each moment, but to put this lesson at the forefront and ace it, boom, so that we can start a new cycle. Okay, so whatever we were going through on the new moon, it was all about the Hierophant, getting in touch with our own heart's compass to start a new beginning, create that solid foundation. We are not going to get there. That's very connected to this. We're not going to get to that new beginning with that solid foundation until we can get over our victim consciousness. Seems like we've been really stubborn. Okay, so we're still working toward that Four of Wands from the last reading. We're still working toward that new beginning. But until we can let go of this self-created trap, Until we let that go, we can't move forward, and we must. So remember that we're dealing with some deep, dark stuff here. And as long as that habitual stuff comes up, we're not going to open up to the new inspiration that we need to begin anew, to start again. All right, I'm off to go camping. Shabbat Shalom. This is a perfect night to meditate on a new beginning, to really access this opportunity, claim the new you, claim that to be what you deserve. Put that as a priority, set that as a priority, say to yourself, as a prayer even, I'm doing this, I'm going to get this because it's available to me here now, and I can call upon that inspiration right now. It is within me to do that. And I don't have to worry about where, when, why, how. I need just envision myself in that state of inspiration. What does that look like and what does that feel like? Have fun with it. Sink into that. Play with it. It's just as real. Actually, it's more real inside. This is secondary. This is everything you see around you is a product of a past thought. So it doesn't even matter if you haven't invoked that inspiration yet. Because once you do it in here, you must know it's going to manifest out here in every way. So have fun with it. The inspiration is yours here now. Access it. Take it. It's yours, babe. Happy first quarter moon. Many blessings to you.